Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Montreal Canadiens. What is the latest on Shea Weber? We've gotten some developments on that. So let's get right into it. So the Montreal Canadiens, fun fact, they are spending right now the most money in the NHL on their roster. They have spent $93 million in terms of cap hit on the Habs this year to be the worst team in the NHL. You know who is 2 and 3 on that list? I know it's pretty interesting. They're in the same category as Vegas and Tampa Bay, and they're spending more money than those two. I know, mind-boggling with how the Habs have been this season, but one of the key reasons for that is Shea Weber. Shea Weber's contract, which is on the long-term injured reserve. So he's currently the captain of the Maple Leafs, the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. He has 5 years left on this contract. This contract will take him till the summer of 2026. Yes, we have some time left on that deal. So with that said, what are the Habs going to do about that? That's just dead money right now for this team. So you look at his cap hit, it is $7.857 million per season. But there's also some speculation out there that the Habs may look to move that money out. And the reason they can do that, it is a very front-loaded contract. So basically, it's one of those contracts that you're not actually paying him $7.856 million per year. Most of that money's already been paid out to him up front. So the good news is they will be able to, if they traded him, it would almost be like a Chris Pronger, I'm trying to think of the other guys, Marian Hossa, Pavel Datsyuk-esque contract. You're looking at a contract that Arizona, give a little knock-knock to the Coyotes, and then kind of say, hey, listen, we'll give you a first-round pick and Shea Weber so we could get rid of this deal. And I'm sure the Coyotes would be like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Now, it might end up being a little bit more than that, especially with 5 years left on that contract. But I'm just thinking hypothetical, right? You're looking at something like that. So this is from Elliot Friedman. Shea Weber's long-term injured reserve contract could be available. 5 years at $7.865 million. We already talked about that. He likely won't play in the NHL again. And you look back earlier in the season, Nick Suzuki in Seattle kind of already gave the hint that he retired, which was a little bit, he probably wasn't supposed to say that. Wouldn't be surprised if some teams who need LTI or long-term injured room or want to get to the cap floor, they take a look. It's a possible move. And Elliot Friedman rumored that maybe Minnesota would be one of those teams in the mix. We saw the Tampa Bay Lightning do that last year with the Chicago Blackhawks when they took on Brent Seabrook's contract. So we have seen teams do that in the past. It's not the most shocking thing, even in the slightest. The thing is with the Habs, they just have so many big contracts. They have, Carey Price in the player assistance program, which it's kind of like rehab. He also has 5 years left on his contract, $10.5 million per season. So right there, you are legitly spending almost $20 million on two players on your team that are not playing on the team and may not ever play for the Habs again. And that has to be just so frustrating because this is a team that going into this year, there were expectations that they could still be good. They could give one more kick at the can. They went to they won the East, whatever, the Canadian Conference, right? The Canadian Division. They go all the way to the final, and they lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning where they kind of met their match. But that was like a glory run, and that was probably the last of Shea Weber and Carey Price. And now that those two players are gone, this team looks totally different. Fired their general manager, brought in a completely new management team, new coaching staff. Like everything has changed. It hasn't even been a year since the Habs went to the Stanley Cup final, and you just look at all the turnover since then. It is really incredible. And you look at some other contracts, you have Jeff Petrie. He has a modified no-trade clause. That might be tough to move. Joel Edmondson as well, a modified no-trade clause. Everybody else on the defense is either an unrestricted free agent or a restricted free agent. 1 year left on their deals. And the only real stability they have up front, Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson, which have 6 years left on their contract, as well as Nick Suzuki, who comes off his entry-level deal this year. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting what happens with Shea Weber. I think there's going to be interest. I think the Minnesota rumors have been kind of knocked down and said that's not possible. It's not really on the table. But I look at 3 teams in particular. 1, the Buffalo Sabres. They're going to have a lot of cap space. 2, the Seattle Kraken. And 3, of course, is the Arizona Coyotes. I would look at those 3 teams, if I'm the Montreal Canadiens or Montreal Canadiens fans, to see as a possible fit for Shea Weber in order to maybe, unfortunately, unload the contract of Shea Weber here this offseason. And the thing is here, too, because of the contract that he has, if he were to retire, Nashville would get a huge penalty because they signed, I think it was the 12-year, 13-year contracts that are no longer allowed. They would get a huge penalty. It may even cost draft picks. That's how costly it could be for the Predators if Shea Weber to retire early. So for the sake of Nashville and everything he's done there, he is going to wait till the end of that contract to officially retire. But that he is already kind of written on the wall. This is probably the end of the NHL career for Shea Weber. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.